I started playing football in the 7th grade. When I came up for a recruiting visit in Houston, Coach Yeoman says, "Son, where are you going to go to school?" My mom didn't think I should go to play in a big city. And I said, "I'm going to go to Texas Tech." At the time, Coach Carol Schultz was the recruiter. He never gave up recruiting me. Between him putting pressure on my mom and me putting pressure on my mom and me getting my sisters to join in, we were able to make that switch, and I was able to come to University of Houston. They didn't start handing me the ball regularly. I get put on second team. We end up getting beat, and I told Darryl Thomas on the sideline, if Coach Elmer still wants to win the Southwest Conference and go to the Cotton Bowl, I'm going to be the starting running back. And he made the changes, and we went on and won.
Touchdown, Blackwell!
One of the things that I did my sophomore year, I pledged Phi Beta Sigma. It's a black fraternity. They didn't have that fraternity on campus, and so we started the Zeta Zeta chapter of Phi Beta Sigma. Phi Beta Sigma is still on campus, and they are still vibrant in every aspect of it. And so when I got drafted by the Cowboys, that part was like a dream come true. Those are guys that I sit up and watch for I don't know how long, and then I'm out there taking a handoff from Roger Staubach. It was surreal. I did know what I wanted to do once football was over with. I wanted to venture into advertisement. I went and started working for this telecommunications company. It was called MCI, which later is Verizon. And I worked for them for like 10 years. I'm doing some volunteer work on the University of Houston's campus with athletics. And so I get a call. It's somebody from the athletics department. They were starting an academic center for student athletes. You know, I had always said if God gave me a chance to work with student athletes that I would. And so I started to work in the athletic department as an academic advisor. And I went from being an academic advisor to being assistant athletic director of marketing. A friend of mine called me up and said that Texas Southern was looking for an athletic director. I went ahead and I applied for the job. So I did that for 8.5 years. And after that, I started my own consulting business in athletics. I'm still doing it. I had 2 sons. One passed when he was 12, and my youngest son, he's now 35, and he's a doctor of dental surgery. We have 2 grandkids. I want to be the best grandparent that I could ever be. The University of Houston was always going to be a part of my legacy. And I just thank God that I surrounded myself with the people that were fighting just as hard as me to make the University of Houston a part of their legacy.
Presenting Alois with his medallion is his son, Dr. Evan Blackwell. Ladies and gentlemen, Alois Blackwell. Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you. One of the things that I think that is truly amazing, and I'm so happy in regards to receiving this award, is the fact that my son is the presenter of this award to me. I mean, because I love my son, and I love the fact of the things that he accomplished. Philip, you mentioned that you were in Austin, that you live in Austin now and have the Alumni Association there. He's a doctor of dental surgery, and he's a periodontist, and he does tooth implants on a regular basis. So if any of you guys need that, he'll take care of you. That's just a little advertisement. I'll give you that number later on, okay? Growing up, when I was I think it was the 3rd grade, I didn't know a lot about being a Republican or being a Democrat, but I heard the president, this was in 1963, so you can tell my age, that he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country." And I made that a part of my person growing up. I always wanted to be able to contribute more to an organization or more to anything that I participated in, more than what the organization or the part that I was participating in had to give to me. And so that's how I went about my work. One of the things that also I'd like to thank all the honorees that are on the program tonight. And where's Brad? These bright lights, I can't really see anything. But Brad is the person that put together all these videos. And just to come out with what he was able to produce, I don't know how he did it, but he did a fantastic job. So let's just give it up a round of applause for Brad and what he did. I'd like to also thank Mike Paday. When Mike called me in regards to it, I was surprised and somewhat shocked because I didn't know that I was even being considered. And so I'd like to thank Mike Paday. I'd like to thank Nancy. Nancy did a fantastic job. She makes you feel so at home, so at ease. You know, it's nothing to worry about. And so I'd like to thank her. I'd like to also thank the committee that chose the honorees in regards to being here and to be a part of it. Also, I would like to thank my high school coach. His name was Buster Gilbert. And he's one of the main reasons that I was able to stay in football and to be able to receive a scholarship, because we weren't very good until he showed up my freshman year. And he came down and he visited with us, and he said, if you just give me a chance, we can win a championship. And we did my sophomore year. So I'd like to thank him. And the next person I'd like to thank is Coach Yeoman, Bill Yeoman. Coach Yeoman, he was an interesting person, not only as a coach, but as a person. And he had this saying, son, you just got a rude awakening. That was one of his main sayings. And just to speak on the fact of what I told Darryl Thomas, that if Coach Yeoman wanted to win the Southwest Conference and go to the Cotton Bowl and win the Cotton Bowl, that I'd be the starting running back. I did say that. But I only said it to Darryl Thomas, so I didn't go around telling anybody else that, because I may not would have played. So you know who to tell it to. So you have to say those kinds of things to confirm it. And so, but he did make the change, and we were able to go win the conference and go to the Cotton Bowl. Also, too, another interesting thing about Coach Yeoman, he always had the right words or something to say in regards to when a situation occurred. I never forget, we were playing in the game. I got 2 ribs cracked, and I don't know if any of you guys have ever had cracked ribs, but I go home that night and I try to get into bed. And when you have cracked ribs, you're sucking air out of a straw, because it's so excruciating the pain is. So I went through that night, and I went over to the to get X-rays with Dr. Whitehurst. I got the X-rays, and he said, "Yes, sure enough, you have cracked ribs." And so I go over to Coach Yeoman's office, and I go in. I sit down, and he says, "Son, what can I do for you?" I say, "Coach, they just showed me on the X-ray that I had 2 cracked ribs, and so I don't think I'm going to be able to play in the game this weekend." He looked, without missing a beat, he looked at me and he said, "Son, tell me who I should put in there to do your job, and I'll do it." I said, "Thank you, Coach," and I just got up, walked out of the office, went back to my room, and got into bed so I could get me some rest, because I knew I was going to have to go on Saturday. So football ain't all what you think it is. But I also would like to thank some of the guys that came before me. Warren McVeigh, he was the first black athlete to come to the University of Houston. And from that, you got Robert Newhouse. And Robert, he came here, done an excellent job in regards to, and got drafted by the Cowboys. And I was a teammate with him with the Cowboys. So they were very good people. And Earl Thomas, he was very influential in helping me along. Elmo Wright, Riley Odoms, and then Wilson Whitley, who won the Lombardi, and just did an outstanding job, and one of the main reasons why that we were able to win the Southwest Conference our first year and to go to the Cotton Bowl. He was just the inspiration behind. We'd have meetings with the coaches, but we'd also have meetings at the dorm where it was a little bit tougher to be able to get through those meetings because the truth had to come out. Paul Humphreys, Val Belcher, Mike Spradlin, Chuck Brown, Ramon Rosales, Eddie Foster, Don Bass, Guy Brown, Mark Moore, Kevin Rolich, Danny Davis, who was the quarterback, and my line brother, and he was the captain, Vincent Greenwood. Vince, stand up. He's a linebacker. And my other friend of mine, Dave Caleb, he was on that, he was one of the guys. We needed 3 guys, and we had 2 on campus to be able to start a Phi Beta Sigma chapter on campus, and Dave Caleb was one of the people that helped do that. So, Dave, thank you. Stand up, Dave. And my roommate, Anthony Francis, I mean, this guy, he's like a brother to me. All of his kids went to the University of Houston, graduated, his wife, so his whole family is Cougars. And so, but Anthony Francis was my roommate for 3 years, and he was one of the inspirations behind the fact that I could go out and play the way I did and do the things that I was able to do. And he led the nation in interceptions our junior year. So, Anthony, would stand up, buddy. So, and Mike, you did an outstanding job too. When Mike called me, I was a little bit, I didn't really know what to think, but I called him back and he said, "No, it's good news." I said, "Okay." So, again, I appreciate you guys coming out and help celebrating with us, and thank you so much.